or just
popped up for the inside.
Can he go all the way? Yes, he can.
Mark Credit done on the outside.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of the Rugby Canada Report. I'm Drew Morrison. This week, we find out how Canada's under-17 team is doing as they prepare for the Millfield Festival in England. It's week 11 of the Canadian Direct Insurance League. Andrew Smith gives us a rundown of what happened in the final week, and also a profile of UVic's Rookie of the Year, Beukeboom. The Rugby Canada Report is brought to you by the 2009 Rugby Canada Fishing Classic, taking place June 13th to 16th at Langara Lodge. Welcome back. For a number of years, Canada's under-17 men have toured to the UK in April to participate in the Millfield Festival in Somerset, England. The 2009 team has been preparing for this year's tournament and played a warm-up against the academy side of the Cardiff Blues team, the professional club that plays in the Celtic League. Doug Cross tells us what happened.
Canada's men's U17 team has been on the ground in Cardiff, Wales as part of preparations for the 2009 Millfield Festival. It was a very large Cardiff team taking on an older Canada squad, and the first half was all one-way traffic for the home team as they scored 3 tries on the way to a 21-0 halftime lead. But momentum shifted in the second frame as Canada got on the board courtesy of this long run from David Turner. The St. George's fullback taking it all the way under the posts with Canada 7 points. Canada almost crosses again, but some desperate Blues tackling at the line saves the score. Then a penalty against the Blues taken by Canada. Flanker Taylor Paris of Barrie, Ontario jinks his way in. Final score, Blues 28, Canada under-17s 14. So good first outing for the boys, who now play the USA on April 7th, followed by a game against Wales A on April 9th, and they wrap against Portugal on April 12th. Important to remember, Canada was the team of the 2008 tourney, going undefeated, including a big win against France. Here's what a couple of the players had to say after the game.
Our first game against the Blues, we came out strong, had a good performance, had a tough first half, but we came together in the end, scored 2 tries, and ended the game on a good foot forward.
First game was pretty awesome. Get to play against some really good players, and really enjoyed it so far.
Well, it was the final week of the regular season in British Columbia's Canadian Direct Insurance League, and there was still some playoff spots up for grabs. The UVic Vikes could score a spot with a win and some help. Our West Coast reporter Andrew Smith gives us the rundown about what happened at Wallace Field.
As the CDI Premier League regular season came to an end, the UVic Vikes were looking for a lifeline as they took on the undefeated Capilano at Wallace Field. With their Canadian 7 stars and returning from injury players reinforcing their lineup, the Vikes were in desperate need of a bonus point win to make the 2009 postseason. Capilano, however, wasn't exactly ready to concede their first loss in 11 matches this season and came at the Vikes with force. The visitors were first to get on the scoreboard as they slotted a penalty in the opening minutes of play. The Vikes responded through the boot of Nathan Hirayama as he converted 2 difficult penalties to take the lead 6-3. Capilano's physicality was met with some fierce UVic runs as the Vikes piled on the pressure. Ben Grant would appear to touch down only to have the play called back to the 22 before Neil Meechan would force his way over for the first try of the match. Hirayama converted to lead 13-3. With 20 minutes played, the Caps responded and through impressive backline running, went over for what appeared to be a try. But before the conversion was completed, Capilano flanker Glenn McKinnon was given a red card for kicking a Vikes player at the breakdown, and the Vikes were given a penalty. The Vikes took advantage of the extra player in the second half as John Moonlight muscled his way through several players to leap through the posts for a 20-3 lead. Phil McKenzie was next to break through the undermanned Capilano line, and with Hirayama's conversion, the Vikes were up 27-3. After several penalties were called against them, Capilano were defending from their own try line before Pat Riordan burst through for the Vikes' fourth try of the day. Hirayama would convert successfully before slotting another 3 points for a 30-3 lead. Backline substitute Tommy Hartland would break through once more for the Vikes and appeared to drop the ball before actually making it over the try line. The 5 points were awarded, however, much to the distaste of the visiting crowd as Hirayama converted to take the win 44-3. Here's what UVic coach Doug Tate had to say about his team's performance.
Well, I thought it was a pretty tight game right off the beginning. I mean, they scored first. We probably made about 4 or 5 errors right off the bat, and Capilano's are very good at turning the ball over, and I thought defensively they were really strong. So they pushed us pretty hard at the beginning of the game and scored, and then it just turned out those were only 3 points to score. I thought defensively we played well, and having Dave Spicer back, he made some massive clearing kicks. And it seemed to, I think Nate played better today. And with Dave in the lineup, Dave took the ball up a number of times when they were pressing on defense. So, I thought things were going really well. And then just before the half, I mean, a real big turning point in the game was them having a player that was red carded. For us, that made a huge difference. And from there, and then the second half, we started supporting the ball well, and I thought we moved them around, and we executed quite well in the second half.
UVic's Dave Spicer was back in the line for the first time since October and spoke of what a difference it made for his side to be at full strength.
Oh, it was awesome, man. It was the first time we had a lot of the boys back, so when we got a good group, it's a really good team. It's too bad 7s and 15s kind of decimated us in the second half, but it's a really good way for us to finish. We had everything going for us. We have a lot to play for. We have all our guys back. They've already wrapped up first, so that'll probably be a good kick in the butt for them going into the playoffs because they're a very good team, and I'm sure they'll be unhappy and bounce back pretty well in the playoffs.
So the Vikes got the win they needed, but they didn't get the help from Burnaby Lake. James Bay finishes in third spot with a 36-13 win over Mariloma and have home field advantage in the playoffs. Capilano finish in a tie for top spot with Velox and have a first round bye despite the loss to the Vikes. The Castaway Wanderers take down Burnaby Lake 43-3. The Bayside Sharks are in the playoffs. They beat Cowichan 37-19. UBC T-Birds win big over the Rowers 50-18. Neither team into the postseason, however. The Valhallians also getting the bye with their defeat of the UBC Old Boy Ravens. The Birds finished the season dead last and without a win on the year. Here's a look at the CDI standings with a couple of games left for make-up dates. April 18th is the first round of the playoffs. As mentioned, Velox and Capilano getting the bye into the semifinal round. In one quarter matchup, Bayside travels to the island to play James Bay at McDonald Park. In the other quarter, the Castaway Wanderers head to Connaught Park in Vancouver for a date with the Mariloma. Semis are on April 25th with the finals on May 2nd. And one final bit of business, you have been seeing and hearing a lot from a new face at Rugby Canada, Andrew Smith. Well, the boy done got graduated from the University of Victoria this past week. Congrats from the Victoria and Toronto Rugby Canada offices. Andrew will work with Rugby Canada this summer as an intern. That's a wrap for episode 5 of the Rugby Canada Report. It is a co-production between Rugby Canada and the College of Sports Media in Toronto. Visit CSM at collegeofsportsmedia.com. I'm Drew Morrison. Thanks for watching. Talk to you again real soon.
Popped up for the inside. correctly done on the outside.